Have you ever seen one of those pesky camshaft cards? Filled with a bunch of gibberish and numbers, these cam cards have stumped even the most brilliant men for millions of years. But what if I told you it's quite simple to read and understand if you break it down into sections? On each cam card, you're given a number of measurements. We don't have a lot of time, so buckle in while we tackle these measurements. Number 1, lobe lift is simply the upward movement of the cam lobe measured in terms of inches or millimeters, detailed as either intake or exhaust lobe lift at the camshaft. Number 2, on the same line, there's a second number that is achieved through the rocker ratio. If you multiply the lobe lift by the rocker ratio, you will get the lift the engine sees at the valves. Number 3, duration is the number of degrees of crankshaft rotation that each valve spends off the seat. All camshaft specifications are expressed in degrees of crankshaft rotation, and for every rotation of the camshaft, there are 2 crankshaft rotations due to the cam gear being twice as large as the crankshaft gear. Number 4. Before the 1960s, camshaft manufacturers decided the beginning and end positions in terms of tappet lift. Some companies used 0.004 inch, and others used 0.006 inch. This made it difficult to compare duration between cam companies. That changed when Harvey Crane called out a 0.050 inch of tappet lift as an industry standard that was quickly adopted. The 0.004 inch and 0.006 inch spec, respectively, is classified as advertised duration. Number 5, the lobe center line. The center lines of the intake and exhaust lobes expressed in crankshaft degrees. The intake center line occurs a number of degrees after top dead center, while the exhaust center line is positioned at a number of degrees before top dead center. The intake center line is often used as a primary point for degreeing the camshaft. Number 6 is the lobe separation angle, the number of crankshaft degrees of separation between the intake and exhaust lobe center lines. Somewhere on the card, you will find an advanced number, which means that when the camshaft was machined, the specs called for advancing the intake lobe a number of degrees. This is often performed on street camshafts as a way to enhance low-speed performance. Finally, mechanical valve lash is the clearance between the rocker arm and the valve tip as measured by a set of feeler gauges when the engine is at full operating temperature. Mechanical lash must be measured when the cam lobe is on the base circle.